There we go. So we've got evidence that it is recorded and a recorded event. Now, welcome everyone. Thank you very much for attending my webinar today. And today is the 15th of August, 2022, and it's a public holiday here in Cyprus, in Greece, and various other countries for the Feast of Assumption. So my prayer is extended to you on this holy day, in a way, for most of the Christians out there. Celebrating, or I would say they are on prayers for this special day. So God bless everyone and welcome to this session today on the Monday's week ahead review, or week ahead. Every Mondays is happening at the same time, anywhere between 11:15 to 11:30. We should be starting our webinars on that day, on Mondays, as well as Wednesdays and Fridays. So we've got three sessions a week from Breton, and we've also got Mondays right after this session. It will be the TenTrades webinar as well. So I would actually be talking about Ten Academy. We'll have the TenTrade or Ten Academy webinar for Breton as well. Okay, but all these sessions that I'll be doing on all of my webinars, live especially, are going to be done on my preferred analytical MT5 platform of TenTrade. Okay, so that would actually be it would be a much better thing to do if you guys can also download either the demo or activate your live account. Does not matter, but so that we are all in sync onto the analytical price feeds as well. So then it would be easier for you guys to also draw patterns later on, do the analysis sort of in sync with what I am doing, or me and Toby doing on the analytical side of things, okay, of the markets. All right, so how you guys been doing? I hope everyone have had a restful weekend, especially, and also a restful day today if you are also on holiday, because lots of people are on holidays. It's entirely quiet here in my neighborhood. I've seen my neighbors packing up since Friday as well to have that long weekend. So that's a norm or a trend, basically. Now, talking of trend, we need to analyze the market a little bit, of course, and to look at the week ahead with what we would expect in terms of volatility, in terms of data releases, economic data releases as well, and various other factors that would actually encourage or drive volatility. What are the dockets that are really important, high impact to medium impact news or data releases that could actually be applied onto the market. Now, before we get to the trend analysis, looking at the fundamental side of it, I just want to follow up on what we have actually discussed last week, especially. Now, one of it is, of course, we have had AUDJPY that we've actually discussed as well. It has been dropping really well, so that's a good sign for the trades. But we have recently also talked about GBP CHF, and it has been doing really well, not too well in terms of the drop, but going towards the direction that we've talked about. As you guys can see on the 4-hour chart, when we were actually looking at the price, we have not seen a bearish mother candle with a strong body of more bearish as the time goes by, actually hit our TP, which is basically at 1.1360. So we have traded, and I have suggested the price for GBP CHF to enter a sell at 1.1410, if you guys can remember, because we were looking at the price at 1.14, right? 1.1414. So then, it's too close. It's not really, it needs to be tweaked in accordance to psychological numbers as well. So when you have done that, then we get the price of 1.1410 as your ideal entry price. Now, I wonder how many of you guys have actually entered the trade for GBP CHF. Any one of you have entered the trade for a sell, as we have talked about the selling opportunity for GBP CHF on 1 hour, 4 hour, and daily, because at the time we were analyzing the market in terms of analyzing GBP CHF from a trend analysis perspective, right? Okay, you entered it, Ibrahim. That's brilliant. Good. Perfect. How is it going now? You probably is, probably earning a little bit because it has actually gone under 1.1410. Is that correct? Now it is at 1.1400 or 05, something like this. Still running. And I think it's running on a bit of positive, right? Not a big gap of negative balance, right, at the moment for GBP CHF. So that's quite a good sign. We can talk about it now a little bit just to give you a bit of an idea that it is actually still onto a sell scenario. It's got bearishness is spelled out for it from 1 hour to daily chart as well. So let's do just a bit of a recap in terms of trend analysis for GBP CHF. We'll start off with the 1 hour chart. As you guys can see, it has price have actually gone under that red zone. That red zone was a bearish zone, but the cluster of candles and the current trend on 1 hour chart is biased to the downside, is bearish, mainly because of the three lines, because of the cluster of candles. They are trading under all the three lines, and the three lines are quite clear. And nicely flowing like a river down there. Our chart in terms of how the three EMAs, exponential moving, are not too slopey to the downside. It needs to have a very nice slope to the downside. The angle of the slope that is traveling steeper to the downside would actually be giving more hints of a stronger trend to the downside, but it's not too bad. They are not touching each other. They are flowing downwards, but the angle could have been much better, like the 1 hour chart. But the cluster of candles is still quite far away from the three lines. So that is actually quite a clear indication of downtrend expected. Now, if you compare that 1 hour, both the 1 hour and the 4 hour chart to the daily chart, we are looking at further downside, and it's not bad at all for the flow of the three lines. The way the three lines are flowing, the 50, 100, and 200 EMA, exponential moving averages, it's quite encouraging. So it's mirroring what has happened in the 1 hour chart and a little bit of 4 hour chart. But overall, the 1 hour, 4 hour, and daily is giving us a smooth sort of flow to the downside for GBP CHF. So this is how we collectively look at the trend by doing a trend analysis based on the three EMAs. All right, so it's a very simplistic way of looking at that. Now, on the 1 hour chart, of course, we've got all these lines drawn as well, colored lines, right? I'll get rid of all the other lines that we don't actually need. We have got some, what do you call that? Blue lines. Now, the blue lines are your support, actually. So let me just looking at the daily chart at the moment right here. Now, I'm also curious in looking at the other time frame, like the weekly chart, just to give it, give me a little bit more data and hint that are solid. If I use data of price action or patterns from daily chart, weekly chart, and the monthly chart, it usually gives me more confidence in looking at these time frames. But it does not mean that I am trading accordingly to these timeframes. No, I'll be looking at it only from a trends perspective, data perspective, and also the strength of the trend perspective in terms of the strength of mother candles especially, right? So it does not mean that if I look at all these on make a further trend analysis and technical analysis, right? So you can do a trend analysis based on higher time frames, lower time frames. I would think collectively all the time frames would be good to do a trend analysis, not a technical analysis. When you do a technical analysis, then it would be closer to the time for you to execute a trade, for example, and make that financial trading decision. Then you are doing that decision after a technical analysis, not after a trend analysis. So you've got to do a trend analysis first, and then once you are, sure of the smoothness, the clarity, and the strength of the trend, then you can move on to technical analysis and then move on to making that financial decision, trading decision to trade. That is your fifth step in the price trade plan of execution of that trade, right? Based on your personal decision to do so. Okay, so here, for example, it is showing quite clearly that, the cluster of candles, even on the weekly chart, are very far away from the three lines. The three lines are not too bad. I would see it as the slope is not that sloping. The slope is not to a very good angle downwards for the three lines. So what that means is that perhaps on a medium to long term, we don't leave our trades for GBP CHF to actually hope for a very big fall. So we need to take that in stages according to the time frame, right? Okay, let's get back to the 4-hour chart for GBP CHF. For the guys who have just entered the room, welcome. And we have not really started looking at the week trend and analyze the market from a weekly perspective as yet. We're just talking about GBP CHF, and these sessions today is actually recorded, so you can always watch back and then look at and watch and listen to what I have actually mentioned from the beginning. So what we have done is just to analyze GBP CHF again, because we have released that as a signal, GBP CHF on various time frame in terms of the trend. We've talked about it in terms of the trend as well. So let's get back to GBP CHF again. Now, this is also a pattern that I have mentioned, medium to long-term type trade. We trade it in stages, of course, meaning that if we spot a very big mother pattern like this one here on a bigger time frame, like the daily or the weekly, then we can always break the number of pips up and look for baby patterns as well. So we'll talk a lot about that. I'm releasing the geometric patterns course on its own, so you can always look at that as well later once it's been released. Okay, so let's get back to 1-hour chart of 4-hour first of the GBP CHF, just to give you guys a little bit of a hint what to do in looking at the GBP CHF. Now, what we expect is a little bit of a slowdown in the market, mainly because we've got more than half of Europe basically is on holiday as well today, and celebrating the religious holiday too. And also with that, we've got the rest of the world as well. Non-European countries as well are having the Independence Day, as I've mentioned, and various others. So we are looking at a slowdown in the market. People getting back tomorrow, most probably. But also with that, that's why we want to go back to the economic calendar and then look at the whole week ahead. So what could actually drive the movements of GBP CHF is maybe more data releases and connected currencies as well to the GBP, and that could actually then drive volatility. Now at the moment, it looks like it's stuck at the 1.1420 area. Now the 20 as the last two digit is also a psychological number. So we've got 4 sets of psychological number based on the last 2 digit of the of the prizes, but based on 4 decimal places. So what you just need to do is to omit or take the last digit of the five decimal places out, and then just make it 4 digits. So now, for example, the price is at 1.1413, something like this. And then basically this is your current price. So it's gone under the 1.1420 psychological number. So as I mentioned as well, as long as it goes under 20 psychological number by 10 pips. I've drawn the yellow line based on the closing price of that mother candle, that bearish mother candle on the 4-hour chart. So anything goes under the 1.1400 as well will be further downside for the GBP CHF. Testing 1, 2, 3. You guys can hear me now? I think I moved away from the mic probably. Let me just double check. Okay, give me a second. Let me check. Testing. Clear now? Yeah, I think it's probably because I moved away from the mic. Yeah, now it should be okay, right? Okay, good. So, yeah, let's continue. And this is basically where if you are already on the trade like Ibrahim, that's brilliant. And just leave it and look at the analysis now for the trend analysis. So for the trend analysis, as I mentioned just now, based on 1 hour, 4 hour, and daily, it's still looking clear. And the strength can actually be confirmed with the ADX as well. So if you insert the ADX, which stands for, all you need to do is click on insert, go to indicators, and under the trend category of indicators, you will find average directional movement index. All right, you don't need to change anything, but you go to the level area and you click add and you type the number 25. So once you've done that, then you have got dotted lines on 25. And we are looking at the blue line only, this colored blue line right here, whether it's above 25 or under 25. Now, if it is if it is above 25, that means whatever trend, whether it is uptrend or downtrend, it's strong. Okay, so the strength of the trend can actually be measured using the ADX. Of course, it's a lagging indicator. It's not really, the best of it all, very accurate and stuff like that. But it gives us a bit of a hint. That's why it's, really important for us to have a mixture of different methods and techniques to actually sort of sharpen each one other technique that we are actually putting in, right? So then we don't rely on just one type of indicator, one type of strategy, or things like that. Okay. So here, for example, on the 4-hour chart, looks so bearish, mainly because of lines as well, and from 1 hour, 4 hour, and the daily chart. So then we collectively have actually looked at it as a downtrend. So that is our trend for GBP CHF that we have analyzed for. Then you look at the ADX, and the ADX, if it is above 25, that level, that blue line, then the downtrend for GBP CHF is actually strong. So it's strong on the 4-hour chart. Let's look at the 1 hour. We missed out the 1 hour just now. It is still above 25 as well on the 1 hour. And now we look at the daily chart. Daily chart as well, it's actually above. So this is actually a very good sign. A good sign that the trend, the strength of the GBP CHF to the downside is expected to increase. Expected, not assured. Okay, it's just expected because it's a lagging indicator as well. But usually, if we have got various other ways in terms of the three lines, and then we use the ADX as well. We'll look at the candles as well. We'll look at the psychological numbers as well. So there's various other ingredients that we need to put all together to give us that confirmation on the fourth step, right? So the I part of the trade plan, which is me and Toby and us giving you insiders information and guiding you along the way, is the I side. Then we've done the P and the R. The R needs to be done by yourselves, of course, to understand the lot sizing, understand various other risks and money managing factors. But we will speak about that and have videos and guide you through that so that you can actually do that on your own. Why? Because the money is yours, right? So the capital investment is yours from your hard work as well, and basically hard-earned money. So it's a personal matter when it comes to money. So the risk that you want to actually expose to with your own money, and also how you want to manage it as well, has to actually be only guided by us, but you need to make that final decision in terms of the risk exposure, the various other elements that would actually be a very personal matter, right? So we can give you that template and not actually touch directly into directing you or giving you instructions of what you need to do with your money or how much you should be risking and all that. So we can give you guide lines on how you can make that risk and reward, risk and money managing, what do you call that, factors and templates and information, so you can actually do that on your own. Okay, all right. So let's get back to this trade right here. So now what's happening is that the price is approaching the next psychological number, which is 1.1400, right? So it's trading just just at 1.1420, which is another psychological number. So as it proceeds downwards, and if the trend of GBP CHF is picking up to the downside, then it would actually be going under the psychological number of 1.1420 and going towards 1.1400. So what usually happens is at 1.1400, because it's a psychological number, it has a chance of a bounce. It could be a reversal there. So we've got 4 sets of psychological numbers, correct? We've got the 00, 20, 80, and 50. Now from 20, it is going downwards. If it's going under 20, it's giving us a hint that more sellers may be coming in, but also at the same time, there may be a potential reversal at 1.1400. Now, is the 1.1400 a very significant level of reversal or not? We need to find that out by looking to the left. Now, when you look right and you look left, when you're crossing a very busy highway that doesn't have a bridge, let's say, you are always looking to the right and to the left. Now, you do the same when you are crossing the highway of your platform, right? So on the right, you're looking at the current price to match up in knowing where are the psychological numbers, what do you call that, close to the current price. That is what you look for on the right. Right now, when you look to the left, you want to actually look for evidence of participation by sellers and buyers through the mother candle shape and size of the mother candle itself, whether it's a bearish candle or a bullish candle, because the bearish and bullish mother candles could give us a lot of data, and they actually give us more accurate support and resistance data from the closing and the opening price. One technique that we put in like ingredients, quite close to the metaphor of analyzing market in the final example. Now, when the price is traveling downwards and it's approaching 1.1400, which is a quite significant psychological number or not. We don't know that yet until we look to the left. So we need to follow the current price as of now. That's the current price there. Just see whether I can. Properties on the current price is probably, let's see, if I put it as white, it's probably better. Bid price line. Yes, based on the bid price. So there you go. Yeah, now it's clearer. So we've got the thin white line. That's the current price so that we don't get mixed up with all the other lines, right? So what I want to do is I like using the daily chart, and I want to go back to the left and follow the current price and see what has actually happened in the past. Based on the current price, all right? Just to get a little bit of a data. We don't need to worry about what to look for and all that. We just want to relax and basically follow that horizontal line and look to the left. Now, when you look to the left, you want to look for very bearish or very bullish mother candles like this one here. Visually itself, it's quite significant, right? It's quite long, and this is based on the daily chart. Now, that strength of that mother candle body is worth about 370 or 396 pips. So that is 395 pips, which is very close to 400 pips. So that is quite a significant body of the mother candle, right? So that's the first one that we've bumped to on the left. We don't need to go and scroll too far back. Whatever that is clear and significant, we can always pay attention to that. So what I meant by this is that it looks like the current price right now, it is actually trading in within a bearish zone, mainly because of this mother candle that has actually happened in the past. So this mother candle that has happened in the past happened this year itself in March, okay, 18th of March. So this is quite a into it while looking to the left to a very significant looking mother candle that's worth 400, almost 400 pips. So that is actually quite a good one to actually monitor and look at this area. This area is quite significant in a way, right? So I would like to mark this area from the opening price of the mother candle, the bearish mother candle. I'll mark it as red right here to mark the bearish zone of based on this mother candle right here. Okay, we want to pay a lot of attention to this area right now as a zone that could potentially be a bearish zone because of all these things that is happening. Now, what I will do next is I'll get rid of all these lines now, right? We don't need this line for now, and we just need to focus on the current price of GBP CHF at this moment of time. We're looking at the daily chart. Now, we've got a zone right here that is based on the mother candle. Now, I have been trading this way, looking at mother candles and paying a lot of attention with the mother candles and also all the candles that it has encapsulated or engulfed in. So this here is very, very powerful in a way. Now, here, for example, the market in 2020, in March 2020, 2 years ago, have got this price action that needs to be paid quite a lot of attention. Why? Mainly because that market drop was quite significant as well. From the peak area right down to this area right here, it's 1,600 plus pips, right? 1,700 if we look at the wick area as well. So that 1,600 to 1,700 drop of price in this area right here from this, let's say the peak right here, 2020 February, and then it fell for 1 month, basically, roughly, a very significant 1,600 pips drop of GBP CHF has to be paid a lot of attention. This whole area needs to be paid a lot of attention, but we want to focus on the price right now. And because we focused on the price right now, we look to the left, there is another area right here that we can zoom in to pay a lot of attention to get the data from, right? So this is based on the daily chart. This is quite a significant uh, movement right there, and we have got various other expecting it to fall to this red line area based on the closing price of the bearish mother candle that I've showed you that happened in March 2020. Then we are looking at potentially 200 more plus pips, about 200 to 230 plus pips for that drop. Will we get that 230 pips? No, we cannot guarantee, but there are ways to look at whether or not that trend will be driven downwards and will that be strong. The stronger and clearer the trend, hence the reason we want to look all the 3 time frames and stuff like that and marry that with what's going on in the UK, right? Especially, and also any other related assets or factors that would actually impact the strength of the GBP, right? So at this moment of time, on the daily chart itself, it's looking very clearly bearish in a way, right? We have got all these 3 lines and all that. Now we have got this area to look out. Now, looking at the price right now, for those who have not traded yet, it's not an ideal price to enter right now. It's not a good price to enter a sell right now. A good or a better or an ideal price to enter your sell for now, for those who have not executed the trade. For those who have executed the trade already based on that time, you have to wait basically, right? And for those who want to trade again, or you have not traded and you want to enter, the price that would actually be better to trade would actually be under 1.1400, okay? Because it has visited 1.1400, it flirted there, but it didn't go under 1.1400. So because 1.1400 is your psychological number right there, so we don't trade there, right? So we need to trade for a sell. It has to be traded ideally according to price action or psychological numbers under 10 pips, 10 pips under the psychological level. So the psychological level that we have looked at is the 1.1400. So under that 1.1400 by 10 pips would give you 1.1390. Correct? So 1.1390 and under, from 1.1390 onwards, is a better ideal price to sell. So you can choose anywhere, under 1.1390 or 1.1390 itself. It's entirely up to yourself. So that would probably be now 1.1120 pips or so, 1.1200, right? So 1.1200 would actually be an area that I would market off here. So I need to exit. If I were to leave my trade open and I want to get that 100 plus pips, for example, I can leave that open, but I will not leave it open and have my TP exactly at that last rate line at 1.1187. I have to tweak it according to psychological number, and so that I will be a bit safer. Okay, so with that, I would mark, let's say 1.1200 as well. I just want to mark that area, 1.1200. Okay, so I have 1.1200 right here. So let's say I want to sell right now at 1.1390 is my new selling price for now, for those who have not entered the market yet, or who want to enter again or open another one. Then you can actually trade at 1.1390. So let's say if you are trading at 1.1390, then your take profit should actually be a little bit safer above 1.1200. So I would usually take it at 10 pips above 1.1200, which is 1.1210. So that 1.1210 will be your take profit ideally, right? A better price to take profit, because we want to be safe as well, considering all these areas that I have marked in red according to the psychological numbers. All right. So because close to the psychological numbers are where price could actually bounce up. For those of you who have questions, just give me a second, give me a minute or so. Let me just finish this part and I'll get to your questions. So 1.1210 would probably be a better price to exit, or 1.1230. Okay, that is above the 20 psychological number. So let's say I want to be a bit more conservative. I don't really focus on the number of pips. I want to focus on what the market can give me potentially by cutting out the risk element side of it, right? So 1.1230, and I'll change the color to blue as well. So this area 1.1230 will be my ideal take profit area. So remember, we talked about the ideal selling price is at 1.1390, like that. Okay, so I have my green line right there. I'll zoom in a little bit, give you, so this is like a signal for you guys, right? So I will trade this as well in a minute. I will put it as pending order. So 1.1390 is my selling price, right? And my take profit is at 1.1230. So for those of you who are interested in using a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio, right, for the stop loss side of it, what we do is very simple. We'll just equalize the number of pips for profit to the number of pips for stop loss. So that that is 100, and let's say 158. So I put it as 150 pips, right? So 150 pips to the upside. Let's say here from the green, 150 to the upside. Okay, no, can't be something like this. 150 to the upside. That's roughly at 1.1540, which is good. So 1.1540, yeah, 1.1540. So I'll just change the color to purple as well for stop loss. Yeah, 1.1540. There you go. All right, so now you've got your complete take profit and stop loss as well for GBP CHF. Okay, so there you go. Now let me admit some people here. All right, let's get back to the question. What's the setup for ADX? The ADX has got just on default setup, so you don't need to change anything. You only need to add the 25 line, the level 25. That's all. Anything else, you just leave it as it is on default. Okay, there's no change. All right. Okay. Any other questions? Now we've looked at that. We need to look at market review now before we end the session, and to continue it on to TenTrade's webinar. Okay, so questions, guys. We can continue, of course, into the TenTrades one. Any question? No? So for those who haven't traded or would like to trade again, you'll take profit 1.1 problems, and then so this is a 150 pips potential and 150 pips loss as well, right? So on the stop loss side of it, it's 100, and you're willing to take that, or you want to take it smaller. It's entirely up to yourself, and then you can look at smaller or shorter time frame as well, and plan your trade in accordance to your trading capital, right? Very important. So your sell entry 1.1390, stop loss 1.1540, and your take profit 1.1230. I think, is it correct? Yeah, let me just confirm that again. Give me a second, guys. Let me just make sure that I've done it correctly. Yeah, yeah, that's correct. Okay. Okay. Peter, set up for the ADX. Is that correct? All you need to do is go on to indicators, go on to trend. Okay. Indicators, trend, go on to your average directional movement index. It's really simple. You don't need to change anything, right? Anything on parameters, you don't need to change anything. Anything on scale, visualization, nothing. Just go on to levels, click on the button add, and type out 25 in that box, and then click on add again, okay? And just click OK. That's it. Nothing else. All right. Is that clear, Peter? All good? Perfect. Okay. So the ADX has actually shown strength of the trend. The current trend is downtrend, which is bearish. So the ADX applies on both trends, okay? It doesn't mean that the blue line is up and it's uptrend or downtrend. No. As long as it is above the level 25, that means whatever trend you are looking at, whether it's uptrend or downtrend, is strong, right? So you need to compare that strength throughout 3 time frames as well: the 1 hour, the 4 hour, and the daily chart. Okay, right? That's the most important thing to do. Okay, so there you take profit as well. This is for the sell entry of GBP CHF, right? It's looking good so far on the fundamentals as well, and various other things. Okay, so let's get back to what this webinar is all about. So looking ahead, the week ahead. So with that, I would like to go back to the economic data. I usually use the one in FX Street. I filter them out as well based on level of importance, usually medium and high important ones. Basically contributes to the volatility of the market as well. So as you guys can see, Monday, almost nothing, right? So it starts off with tomorrow, Tuesday, August the 16th. Now with August 16th itself, tomorrow, it looks like quite a heavy, long docket of movements of data releases that could actually move the market quite easily. Then we look at Wednesday. Let me just go here and click onto this week. Now this week right here, and click on apply. Right. So here, for example, we have got, here it's a different story. So we've got Monday, yes. It's got JPY already started with the Chinese data. Remember, I've mentioned to you guys about Japanese yen. Japanese yen is connected to it being a safe haven. So we want to look at whether or not there's a lot of movement into the JPY. Now, JPY will give us a lot of volatility as well today, mainly because of the GDP numbers that has been announced. Now, it looks like a negative number right there, but we don't react to the numbers here. We need to go on to news websites and look at the tools on the Action Forex as well, and then make our decisions based on trend analysis on the chart. By ourselves. Okay, so then that is on the JPY side of it. Now with the Chinese data, always we have mentioned that we need to connect with Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar as well. right? And also with Bitcoin and various other things, but most importantly, Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar. Okay, and what goes on in Australia and New Zealand as well. Now we have got the Chinese data right here based on retail sales. We've got the Japanese yen ones. So that's already happened, right? That's already passed in a way. Now we need to look ahead on what is in the trend at this moment of time, whether it is a risk off, risk on as well. So, we have done an analysis, a further analysis on GBP CHF, but today is a different day. We may be able to pick other pairs that we can actually trade for today, right? And for today, also carry it for the whole week. Now, we can see that Tuesday looks quite heavy on the data. We have got GBP, Australian dollar, and the Canadian dollar potentially to be moved and experience some volatility, mainly because of the countries, respective countries that are releasing the high impact economic data. So we've got the first one tomorrow. We'll start off with Australia's meeting minutes. Now, it's not data release per se, but it is a meeting minutes. Now that meeting minutes revolves Australia, so that is actually quite interesting to watch as well, and we have to be aware with it, of Australia's economy, Australia's announcement as well, mainly because of what has happened today with the Chinese data. Now, the Chinese data will also impact Australia's decisions in doing things, especially with trade balances, with its economic direction and various other things, because they are very close trading partners. So we need to keep an eye in connecting the dots between the Chinese data or China with Australia and New Zealand dollar, as well as its crosses of currencies, right? Okay, so there you go. We've got Tuesday GBP numbers as well. We've got claimant count that happens in the first, I think GBP has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, from the UK data releases, we've got 5. Out of that 5, we've got 2 volatile ones, potentially, meaning that highly important data releases, which are the claimant count and the ILO unemployment rate. So here, it's really important to know that GBP has got the potential to be moved. Now, whether it will start moving tonight, late night as well, we don't know, or much earlier, we don't know that yet. So hence the reason we need to go onto the tools to look at your heat map, your top movers as well, in order for us to be able to pick the right pair to analyze further in terms of trend analysis and technical analysis, so that we can start to actually trade them. Now, so here, this is what a little bit of a disconnection with oil's prices at this moment of time. You mentioned commodities like oil and other commodities as well, right? So it is important for us to look at that. But again, we use the tools to give us a little bit of a hint of how we should actually be looking at what the big boys are actually trading and stuff like that. So it's not really necessary for us to know what they are trading, but what they are moving the market for. I mean, with what currencies, what instruments, that is the most important thing. So we just ride along that, but we have to do our own analysis, our own trend analysis for that. Okay, so that's Tuesday. Now, Wednesday, equivalently, it's quite a heavy long list of docket, and I think this Wednesday would actually be one of the Wednesdays that are that could be the most volatile Wednesday, mainly because of, you see the amount and the number of what do you call that, the data releases. Now it's really funny as well that we are looking at the triangle happening in terms of the correlation between Chinese data, Australia, and New Zealand, because as you guys can see, we had Chinese data right here, right, on Monday, okay, Chinese data. Then followed up tomorrow itself We have Australia data right there, right? And then Wednesday, the day after, we've got New Zealand and Australia data that are all categorized as high volatility or very, very important data. We've got the monetary policy, we've got the interest rate decisions and various things got to do with its central bank's data, right? So very, very important. So this is to give me a hint as well that commodity currencies would actually be in focus for this whole week, looking at how the data is unfolding, all the data that are unfolding for specific countries as well. So we've got Canada's number, we've got also GBPs. Now GBP's data and its economy has got quite a strong correlation with the price of gold, actually. Now, a lot of traders don't realize that, but then for the past 8 months, 9 months now, we are looking at a very, very close correlation between the UK's economy with its currency rates, especially with the price of gold's movement. So we may be able to look at volatility kicking in for gold as well, but more movement as well. But gold's movement has more connection, right? Also economically, of course. All right, so there you go. You've got your New Zealand dollar right there, right? So we'll pay a lot of attention. And again, we have got GBP's data right there. Quite a number of them. We've got one very important one on Wednesday, day after tomorrow, which is your CPI for the UK. Now, with that, we also have euro. So I can see that we've got commodity currencies. We may have US crosses, GBP crosses as well to look at. But most importantly, we've got your Australia and New Zealand crosses, as I've mentioned, and also some US data coming out on Wednesday. And it's going to give a very big good mix of volatility, I would guess, because looking at the whole docket itself is just filled up with far too many very important data that we shouldn't actually ignore, that are categorized as very important or high impact onto the volatility. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 bars, red bars for Wednesday. Very heavy, very highly volatile volatility expected for Wednesday. Now we'll move on to Thursday, August 18th. A little bit, sort of packed down a little bit with its busyness of data, but again, it is focusing on Australia. So we need to look at the antipodian currencies and asset classes. Antipodian revolves around Australia and New Zealand. So we want to pay a lot of attention there as well. I would, mainly because of how the news and the data, the economic data releases are actually sort of scheduled and how we would actually follow on. And the way I look at it, it's got its own reasons of why it's been laid out like that. Chinese data first, and Australian data, New Zealand data, and then more Australian data. And that's a hint to trade precious metal as well as commodity currencies. Okay, so Friday, it's reasonable. We have got all this medium impact news. It's sort of like wrapping up the market on Friday, August the 19th. But again, we have Canada's data release right there to be expected as well. So again, it's got this commodity currency feel for the whole week ahead. So we want, there's no news or anything about New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar, and also ZAR, your South African rand. Okay, so there you go, guys. And very briefly, before we move on to the next session, I would want to look at the top movers just to give a bit of an idea as well. And just before that, I want to look at the, let's say, some news related websites. This one here is Daily FX. Let's say, as an example, we are going to be using a lot of feeds from Forex Mirror. fxmirror.net. And from there, we've got all the aggregated news from Daily FX, Action Forex, and various other places. But I want you guys to look at the headlines. Now, headline right here, we have got headline talking about crude oil, right? Brent prices ease as Chinese economic data. Look, Chinese economic data, that's what we've seen. It's not only impacting Australian dollar, Australia and New Zealand dollar and its currencies, but also you can see it's impacting oil, right? So look at Brent prices ease as Chinese economic data hurts commodities complex. Dollar bid meaning dollar sell, bid is sell, right? So we've got something about oil right there. So we've got a spark from news headlines about oil, and it's relating to China, right? So I can see that this could actually be impactful onto Australia and New Zealand crosses as well. But let's see, let's go on to the heat map later on and take a look at what's going on. Now, funny enough, it's talking about Australia as well right here. Australian dollar down on soft Chinese data. Can you see the connection now? See, we have talked a lot about the connection between Chinese data, Chinese economy with Australia and New Zealand, and basically the both countries and its currencies as well. So you see, it's very clear that this is what's happening. And then it looks at yen up after Japan GDP report, you see. So it's got some connection right there as well. But then look at the connection between Australian dollar and Chinese data. But we shouldn't forget New Zealand dollar as well. It's all in the mix, connected, intercorrelated or correlated, right? So what is a short squeeze? This one we don't care. This one here we don't care as well. But we've got these two news right here. It's sort of mirroring what we are looking at the moment, right? It's mirroring things at the moment, technically, and then a bit of fundamental. So using the tools as well. So CAD now against CAD, New Zealand dollar again, New Zealand dollar again, Australia, New Zealand. So we've got again New Zealand dollar tops the chart, and you know it's moved. It's been chosen as one of the top 10, moving a lot. We have got a lot of negative symbol right here for the New Zealand dollar crosses. That basically means most people, traders, investors, are selling off the New Zealand dollar at this moment of time, right? So we look at the four dots right here. We've got New Zealand dollar versus the yen, and also New Zealand dollar versus the dollar. So then we can start analyzing it and looking at trend analysis as well for these pairs. Now let's quickly go on to the currency heat map. Now the heat map, let's look at whether or not whatever we have been talking about, the Chinese data impacting oil, impacting New Zealand dollar, Australian dollar, oil as well, of course. And then we talked about data releases revolving different countries on different days, right? But for today, we want to see whether that's a match or not. Now, let's go back very quickly onto Monday, right? Monday, we had all these JPY numbers as high impact and Chinese numbers, of course. But then tomorrow, we are expecting Australian crosses to be moved, and also GBP crosses and CAD crosses because of the high impact data right there, especially GBP, right? So we might see that the heat map as well will reflect that by later in the afternoon, later in the evening, especially to prepare for tomorrow. But what's going on right now with the currency pair? So as you can see on the generic table right here, we've got a full column, almost full column here, bearish column, and also a very bearish column under JPY. What that means is that all the currencies on the left, they are very weak against the JPY. So that means JPY is getting stronger and stronger to the upside. If JPY is getting stronger to the upside, that means it is a risk-off environment. That means people don't want to be risky. They want to reduce their risk appetite. That is why they are paying a lot of attention in buying the JPY, because the JPY is a safe haven, right? So let's look at the scenario one by one for each one currency. Now, with each one currency, for USD, for example, we don't have a straight column that is dark blue or dark red, right? We've got one that is almost on the euro, so bearish only on the monthly, but it's reasonably very bearish there. Euro versus the JPY, maybe some selling opportunity of euro versus the JPY. Now here, for example, this one here is all blue only. If this were to be dark blue, it would be better. This means only bullish. Okay, that means euro is bullish against the GBP. So now let's look at JPY. Now JPY may be giving us a bit more opportunities to trend analyze, right? Further, especially euro versus JPY and GBP versus JPY. So let's look at whether or not euro JPY and GBP JPY has got selling opportunities. Why? Because JPY is expected to be on the rise, right? So now if I were to look at here and I just type Japan economy, right? And I go on to Google and I type news right here, right? And I want to look at latest information or news releases concerning the Japanese economy. Now we've got one here 17 minutes ago, 13 hours ago, 1 week ago, but 17 minutes ago, Japan's economy stages modest bounce from COVID jolt. Global outlook darkens, it say. Japan's economy rebounded at a slower than expected pace in the second quarter from a COVID-induced slump, data showed on Monday. Now, remember this, for you guys who have actually attended the Pasha event I have mentioned as well, right? That usually countries out there, if something negative happens or the economy is expected to be slowing down, then the currency would actually go down. But in Japan's cases, the negative news for the economy will actually be positive for its currency. Remember, because when something happens in Japan, they start selling their assets overseas, so the cash flow start coming in. This is what making the Japanese yen go up. So this is also a safe haven type strategy. So Japanese yen is a safe haven as well at the same time. So there will be a lot of traders and investors investing into a safe haven like Japanese yen. Hence the reason Japanese yen is expected to go up. So do I need to actually click and read and waste some time in reading this news for now? No. You don't need that, right? So we need to actually now do a trend, write down Euro JPY, GBP JPY to actually do trend analysis. You want to also look at Euro versus the CHF as well, potentially Euro versus JPY as well, that we can actually analyze further, not trade it, analyze further in terms of a trend analysis. Okay, Euro JPY. YCD, not very clear. So I think that's the few that we can actually analyze further on a trend side of it, okay, a trend analysis. All right, guys, any questions at all before we move on to the TenTrade webinar? Or the other option is we can actually make this a reasonably longer one and extend it for the next 10-15 minutes to include TenTrade webinar as well. So I can present you the Ten Academy platform and various other things. Questions, guys? No questions. You guys okay so far? All good? All right. Perhaps we can continue on to TenTrade's Academy webinar as well. Can do it a bit of a two-in-one. All right, because most of you are here as well. Just to save me going back and forth, get you guys to exit this webinar and enter the other one, we can always continue it right here. Okay. Okay, let me make myself a bit more comfortable and we can start the second session. right now. Okay, so we'll do a two-in-one in a way. Let me also put the platform right here. Let's take a look at what's going on. GBCHF, it is actually moving at the moment. GBP crosses, quite a number of them are actually to the downside. Let's take a look at the TenTrade's. Okay, so welcome to this session that would give you a little bit more on Ten Academy, what's available on the dashboard as well, what we are preparing at this moment of time. Me and Toby, especially on content to help you guys apply, choose the right pairs as well and apply the right strategies and then to trade the right pairs for the day. Right, so this is your dashboard, Ten Academy's dashboard. As you guys can see, we'll have a lot of short courses, video courses for you to watch by topic as well. We've got courses available. They are all made up of very short videos as well, and you can actually watch them to complete the course. So we've got a lot that we are in the process of just having it. So I think the expectation is to have everything ready and you will have the dashboard complete by the end of the month. So this is basically the plan to actually do that. So with that, your dashboard will act as a like in the cockpit of a pilot, right? So you've got all the indicators, you've got everything that you need to give you that clear direction. Okay, so this is like a GPS system. So this dashboard is like the GPS. Now it's for you to actually use the tools to apply and analyze the market based on this dashboard. So you don't actually need to go on to eventually you don't need to go to Action Forex or go on to economic calendar. Everything will be here. Everything will be made available under tools, right? So under tools, you will see all these tools that I use to analyze the market. Toby uses as well. Every tools that we use and we want to share with you guys as members of Ten Academy, basically students of Ten Academy and Breton as well. We are in collaboration with that to guide and mentor you, to guide, coach, and mentor you guys, right? So you need a one place, a one-stop shop to actually be able to use the tools, make all your decisions in one place. So I will be guiding you every day as well, based on the Ten Academy dashboard, right? So Breton Academy will have similar type dashboard, but then you will have more tools that are related to the TenTrade platform as well, the MT5 and various other things. Okay, so here this is where you can register for your webinar at some point. You can actually, and you can also with that, you just, click onto the tools and the courses and various other things that you want all in one place. So this is to, make it more organized for you to go through the trade plan and various other things. Okay, all good. There you go. So that's about the Ten Academy dashboard. As you can see, it's going to look really cool as well. It's got loads of things, a lot of video tutorials and courses, short and sweet in your own self-learning pace online, right? And you've got certification courses, you've got non-certification or video tutorial type courses as well. Your news and everything will be incorporated here as well, right? And also signals and various other things. So everything is in one to help you trade better every day. Okay. All right. Questions, guys, about the dashboard, about Ten Academy's dashboard, or anything that you would like to ask? Any questions? No questions? No questions, guys? Right. If you guys have got no questions, I'm just going to take another 5-10 minutes to pick a pair to do a bit of a trend analysis, and hopefully if that pair is strong in the trend and clear, we might be able to release a signal to trade it, right? So let me just pick one, either Euro JPY or GBP JPY. So let's start with, I think GBP JPY would probably be better because we need to match that up a little bit with what will go on the in the news. Australian dollar probably more related to Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar. Let's see. Is there a requirement to get access to the tools? Yes, the requirement is really simple. Trade with TenTrade, basically committed to us as your mentors and your coach. And you will have access to all that because everything is sponsored by TenTrade. So you don't need to pay for the courses. The courses are charged at 1,002 or 1,003 US dollars. Usually that's what I charge for each one student when I travel around the world. You're not charged for that. So at some point when we do a intensive practical trades. So we are not theoretical type training providers. We are exactly proper and practical, right? So we want your results to be reflected onto your trading account with your real money, rather than just telling us that you have got a certificate, but the certificate has to prove the growth of your personal trading account, right? Then we release a certificate coming from London or Cyprus, and basically it's an internationally recognized certificate for you. So that would actually boost up your credibility as well, as a trader, also as a person trading the financial markets as a whole, so that you will be trained basically on skills on analyzing the market, but about the market as well. So you will always have that knowledge and that skills, and you can use it anytime for that skills to be applied to make you money. So you're learning to earn, right? So this is what we would love for you guys to do. So yes, that only requirement that we have to, because we're not asking for a payment or anything like that through TenTrade, but it's a give and take. It's a win-win in a way whereby we commit our time, me and Toby and the instructors, for free, and we don't charge courses. We don't charge for courses through TenTrade. It's a conflict of interest. So the exchange would actually be through TenTrade is for them to sponsor the course itself, right? So they sponsor the course, you get it for free, but the commitment is for you to open a live trading account with TenTrade and trade with us and get our ongoing support and mentorship and coaching. That's all we ask for, nothing else. And you trade and you can see that it's working for you, and you're consistently benefiting from our guidance and mentorship and coaching. Then you can recommend to other friends as well, and it's going to be a win-win situation whereby you guys are going to be guided, mentored, and coached practically as opposed to just theoretically. Okay, and you guys can see the results or not, from what we do. Okay, good. That's it. Have you got a TenTrade account open already, Peter? You've got a demo account, I would guess, but not yet a live account. Okay. You have, okay, so you use TenTrade. I'm just going to a market watch. Let's pick. Okay, brilliant, good. So let's ride along and trade more to earn more, basically, right? So but we need to analyze the market properly, and I think you can do it. Brilliant. Yes, you are already in the mix, Hero James. Yeah, brilliant, good. Steps to become a sponsored student. Very easy. When you are into my webinars, mine and Toby's webinar, you are already in the step of sponsorship. The more you attend the webinars, the more you learn, the more you practically apply them onto your trades with TenTrade, and we can see that whatever we teach have actually benefited you in your income generation in your TenTrade live account. That is the criteria to be sponsored for that event in 2 months' time, right? So in 2 months' time, you are going to just receive your certificate and more skills training and look at live trading and basically share your experiences and hopefully have you on stage to actually share your experience of earnings that you have made successfully and learning how much you have learned to practically apply all that and how much it has benefited you. That's all we want, right? It's TenTrade, right? You have Hero James, you have attended. Are you based in Cyprus or you're based somewhere else? Maybe they are students from, brilliant. Sorry about that here, James. Yes, if, it is TenTrade. It's our major sponsor for the certification courses by ATI London. Yeah. So it's just go on to TenTrade and attend our webinars and try us out on the platform as well, and then we'll take it from there. Okay. Maybe you want to give me your email address as well, if you don't mind. You can actually type your email address here that you will use for registering an account at TenTrade. So I'll just keep them informed that you have attended our webinar here. The reason as well is that we need, especially for the next one mentorship, because the mentorship is highly practical. We don't have a lot to send you through ebooks and PDF files to read and all that, because it's just not necessary. So, but we do have the dashboard later on that will be released in TenTrade, and the dashboard learning will be part of the criteria of getting everything for free. So your attendance of the webinars and asking questions and applying it of what we are actually training you onto your practical trade, and also your learning on the dashboard will be monitored as well to look at how far you have actually watched, what videos, and have you set for the test as well, and various other things. And that's basically the whole criteria, and it's all very practical criteria. Okay, brilliant. Thank you for that, Hero. I'll call you Hero, right? Okay, so Hero, where did you find the advert of this webinar, like Bratton's webinar? Did you actually find it online, or were you recommended by Gideon or someone in Nigeria or anything like that? Hero James, your name, right? Okay, so I think the best thing to do right now is let's analyze one of the market first. Toby's flyers are brilliant. Okay, perfect. But you are based in Nigeria, yeah? Okay, we will have a workshop in Nigeria as well, most probably in October. So you could either sit for, you would be, because you're based in Nigeria, you'll be sitting for that 3 days live workshop there in Nigeria. So we will confirm where will it be. Most probably it'll be in 2 cities, in Lagos and also in Victoria. I'm not sure whether we'll be doing one in Enugu, but we will send the confirmation of where exactly, time and all that, at least about two weeks or 3 weeks before. Okay, so we still have about 2 months or so. Okay, all right, good. Thank you for that, Hero James. Are you a trader? How long have you been trading, Hero? Still learning. Brilliant. So you're a beginner. But what you intend to trade more of currencies? Are you interested more in currencies? Right. Let's get to one pair. Let's see. GBP, JPY, GBP. I think it's euro. I think. Euro JPY and GBP JPY. Let's just give it a shot with GBP JPY as well and see how clear the trend is. Currencies. Okay, let's do one for you here on GBP JPY here. Okay, so as a beginner, it's always important for us to look at the difference between technical analysis and trend analysis. We can do a trend analysis technically, but it is not the same as a technical analysis, right? So we need to start doing a trend analysis first. And we always want to have three of these lines appear on your screen. These three lines are your exponential moving average. Exponential moving average, or better known as the EMA. So we have got the 50, the 200, sorry, the 50, the 100, and the 200 EMA, right? So we need to also do a trend analysis by comparing at least 3 consecutive time frames, right? So now I will start off with GBP JPY on a 1-hour chart, and I want to look at how are the 3 lines traveling as well. Oops, this one here. Let's go here, right? So the 3 lines are traveling not too bad. They are not. They should be a bit more how you call that, sloping to the downside, right? The slope has to be at a better angle to the downside. It's not that good, that clear, but with the cluster of candles, they are all on the downside. Okay, they are biased to being bearish to the downside. Now, if I look at the price action itself, it's at 160.94. Now, to the upside, it would be at 1. Six 1.00, and good, it mirrors what is happening on the 1-hour chart, which is a bit uncertain, not very clear downtrend based on the 3 lines itself. Now, it is totally opposite when it comes to the daily chart. So I am ignoring the daily chart. I'll go to the 30 minutes chart now as well, and I want to look at what's going on there. Now, on the 30 minutes chart, the 3 lines are a little bit better in terms of its angle of traveling downwards. Okay, so that means that on the short term, especially shorter term, it looks like it still has got a little bit of room to the downside, but because it's not showing very clearly on the 1-hour and the 4-hour, what that means is that maybe the downtrend is not very clear. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to also look at the strength of the trend using the average directional movement index, right? So here, for example, the downtrend on 30 minutes looks like it's got some strength because the level 25 line in blue is still above the level 25. The same goes with 1 hour and also the 4-hour chart. Now, it looks like, because this is still a lagging indicator, it looks like it may want to have some strength to fall further down, right? So what I would do then is I would like to look to the left as well, to look to the left roughly and look at whether or not we've got some selling power in the past. I can see some bearish mother candle in the past right there. Also some more as I scroll further to the left. So I will go on to the daily chart as well and look at how powerful would a mother candle be to the left and how recent would that be? Now, if I look at the current price, which is traveling at 161.09 or something like that, 61 to 162, let's say, the GBP JPY is trading at. So as you look at the current price and have your eyes as well scanned to the left, you could see that you have got some selling power of the past. Right here with one bearish candle, mother candle on this one here. Okay, closing price is your potential support. Okay, so there you go. That's one there based on that mother candle. Then you've got another mother candle there, another mother candle there, and another mother candle there, right? So this is based on the daily chart. So what I would do next is, this is the area that we were focusing on. We've got that mother candle there, this mother candle there, this one here as well, and this one. So I'll lay out all the blue lines or support potential based on the closing price of all these mother candle potentially, right? We've also got one that may be happening very soon in terms of a bounce, is based on this mother candle right here, which is that closing price there, right? So we have got mother candle that has got the current price traveling through it, which is this one here. So what I would think is that that closing price of that mother candle is exactly at 160.80, which is exactly on a psychological level as well. So what that means is anytime now we could expect a bit of a correction for GBP JPY. So there is almost no reason why you should be entering a sell for now. Maybe entering a buy or not, that is entirely up to yourself. But we are trend traders. I am a trend trader as well. So I usually ride along the trend, but it is no right or no wrong in actually traveling opposite direction, but provided you are entering the opposite direction or anti-trend trade at the right time as well. So the right time could also be not only about the trend, but also about the price. Right? So ideally, knowing when to enter with the ideal selling or buying price is really very, very important as well. So then I have got further support levels based on this candle here. So right now, I can tell you that we have got some potential support area that are outlined in blue. So what that means is that if it doesn't go through these blue lines, then it would have least chances of going down and going down much more. There is power, of course, based on all these bearish mother candles. Once it goes under these blue lines right here, the further down it goes through and actually respecting the area of 1.6 from there. So it looks like there may be a bit of a potential of a bounce at the moment to the upside. Now we can use stochastics divergence for that, but I'll cover that another time on making sure that you have that. All right. Yes, of course, Hero, you can actually directly message me. Or are you in my group on Telegram? I'll send you the link right here as well. And you can message me directly through my Telegram group if you have, right? You can talk to me privately, of course, no problems. I'll give you my mobile number here that is connected to all the groups as well. So it's 357 for Cyprus 99245561. And for the rest of you guys as well, you guys can message me directly too, right? And also do inform your mentors that are already guiding you that maybe we can do it collaboratively to help you out as well, right? Okay, so there you go. That's me there. Name is Kenny. Okay, or you can also communicate through the website, Breton, Academy as well. And I've got a YouTube channel, Bratton Academy, Bratton Financial Trading Academy, BFTA, on YouTube as well, right? So you can always communicate from there, and also the Facebook group. All right, there you go. Okay, guys, so any questions so far on GBP, JPY? So for me, it's a little bit too soon at the moment to buy or to sell, because we need to look at what the price could potentially be doing, you know, unless it starts to actually enter the market with a lot of sell, because this is on a daily chart. So the selling is not that, it's not indicated as having a lot of power in from the daily chart onwards on the selling side. So what this means is GBP JPY may have some selling opportunities for a shorter period of time, and it might actually be potentially might actually be reversing very soon. So I'll just do a very quick analysis on divergence, just to give me a hint of whether or not it would actually be most likely reversing to the upside, right? So what I can see is there's a divergence on, see there's a peak right here. This is a high, and then this is a lower high roughly, right? But then as we, you know, stakes prices, and also what's reflected in slope going up. So this is divergence basically telling us that there may be a potential reversal coming soon, right? So there you go. Take this one off. We'll go on to the 4-hour chart. And we can see similarly as well, there's a divergence right there. Yeah, divergence there. So there is a likelihood of reversal happening for GBP JPY. Now, the other thing that we can do is to also look to the left from the current price, going to the left, whether or not in the past there has been a powerful mother candle to the upside as well. Maybe on the weekly charts easier. We've got some mother candle to the upside, providing opening price to the upside as well. So there is a likelihood. So we need to be careful with that. There is a mother candle here that you can see, a bullish mother candle here, signaling a potential move to the upside. We have got several bullish mother candles as well on the daily chart right there, but not too powerful. So I think if it's based on the daily chart, we've got a short-term uprise to the upside. There's a resistant color right here, I think around here. So there is a likelihood of a reversal based on the daily chart on the closing price of that mother candle, and also opening price of that bearish mother candle. So what that means is if it were to go upwards, there may be a bit of a resistance at the 16150s area. So what that also means is that if you're looking at a chance to buy and it is actually definitely increasing in its direction to the upside, you may have a potential of close to about 50 pips or so. So I would think about 40-50 pips rise as a correction for GBP JPY, and then to reverse to the downside again, right? Okay, there you go, guys. Just as a plan. If not, it will be too risky to actually enter the market for GBP JPY. It's definitely opportunities there, but not just yet. Hasn't ripened yet. Okay, any other questions, guys? We can end the session. Otherwise, if you've got no questions more, Toby, you have any questions on behalf of the team?
No, all good. All good.
All good.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
All right. Anybody else questions? No? All good. Perfect. Okay, guys. That's great. If you guys have got no questions, I'll end the session, and you guys can always pass all the questions to Toby as well, or myself directly, entirely up to yourselves. And we will always communicate with you, with Toby as well, right? Okay. All right, guys. Thank you very much for your time, and we'll see you guys next on Wednesday, right? Meantime, have a good pipping week, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye, guys. Take care.